Test before we start. Ooh, it's a bit loud. Let's turn that off. I think we're good to go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. You know who I am. We are here for the post-fight very quickly for Joshua versus Whyte. Wow, that I've got to say, for all the things Matchroom have put on, that was a very interesting night. I still don't think it was pay-per-view, but it was a damn good night tonight of boxing, I think. I can't tell who yet. Hello, Baz. I hope you're well there. So let's get straight into it. I'll start with the top of the bill bout. An exciting bout. Before the fight, of course, people talking. If you go back across Twitter, against social media, people will tell you Anthony Joshua could beat the Klitschko's. Anthony Joshua could beat Tyson Fury. He's the best heavyweight in the world. And as soon as he hits you, he knocks you out. Well, I didn't believe that before the fight. I didn't believe that going into the fight. And I certainly don't believe it now. Dillian Whyte didn't look great against Brian Minto. And he defensively was very vulnerable coming into this fight. As for Joshua, I said to everyone about the lactic acid and him looking like Bruno. I have to say that tonight I saw a young Frank Bruno. I didn't see a young Lennox Lewis. Joshua didn't look a million miles apart from Dillian Whyte tonight, if you're going to be frank and honest. In heavyweight boxing, one punch can turn things around. Now, Dillian Whyte has got a big knockout record, but the question is, he's got a big knockout record against who? Because you don't know who you don't know who Dillian Whyte's knocked over, right? So you don't know how big a puncher Dillian Whyte actually is, and you don't actually know how big a puncher Anthony Joshua is. So the punch that Anthony Joshua took in the second round, where he got badly rocked, we still don't know how good Anthony Joshua's chin's like. I tell you a few things now. A fighter that gets put back. Good evening, Michael Redman. Honest Bob 45, Bazza Pope. Good evening to you guys. Evening, Mr. Redman. Good to see you on Box Nation early on. I'm sure it was you that was called out. But anyway, yeah. The bottom line is, it's okay and it looks great when you're going forward, chucking bums and knocking people over. That looks great. But when you're in against opposition and somebody's throwing punches back at you and somebody's tagging you and somebody's hurting you, it's a different situation altogether. You know, ask yourself the question, did you leave it? Yeah, Michael, I think you sent a Twitter message over earlier on. It was Mike Redman, and I believe, yeah, it was a Twitter message. And I'm sure it was you. But anyway, yeah, Bunce mentioned your Twitter handle. Anyway, back to my point. When you're getting hit back, it's a different situation. That's where you judge a fighter. Don't judge a fighter by knocking out guys he's expecting to knock out. Make a judgment call on the fighter when he's under pressure, when he's being hit back. A lot of boxing fans, evening Kev, hope you well. A lot of boxing fans, or fanatics or fanboys, jump on the bandwagon of a guy that's never been hit back, never been past 3 rounds. Yeah, he's the best fighter in the world, and very disrespectfully to Tyson Fury. You know, Tyson Fury just beaten the best heavyweight in the last 10 years, bar Vitaly Klitschko, and they're comparing a guy who's just beaten the best heavyweight in the world to a guy who just struggled to get past somebody who arguably is one of the best top 2 or top 3 heavyweights in the country. So, you know, ask yourself the question, if someone like Derek Chisora was in there tonight on that second round, would Joshua have got out of there? Because Derek Chisora, I think, is a better finisher than the Dillian Whyte. But anyway, let's knock out another one of these rumors that as soon as Joshua hits you, you fall over. It's not true. Joshua hit Dillian Whyte with many big shots from the first round through to the 7th round. He with many big shots. I noticed through a lot of the fight, Anthony Joshua wasn't following through his punches. He was just punching at the target rather than through the target. And I'll say it again, Anthony Joshua and his team have got very serious question marks about the lactic acid again. You know, Dillian Whyte didn't push Anthony Joshua like the way somebody who, you know, was actually wanting to win the fight would have pushed him. I'm not saying Dillian Whyte didn't want to win the fight, but I think at some point Dillian Whyte came to the conclusion, you know what? I ain't winning this fight. And there is no way in hell. And those people who say Joshua would beat Tyson Fury need their head examined. They really do. And the way that Joshua fought tonight, there is no way. He hasn't got a cat's hell in chance of winning the heavyweight championship of the world, because the heavyweight championship of the world is a science. The heavyweight championship of the world is not won by just having big muscles and being able to punch a bit. No, sorry. You know, you've got some like Tyson at the top of the division now. You know, you've got Povetkin lurking around. You've got, you know, Jennings. You've got what would Joshua have done had he been fighting tonight Bermane Stiverne, who is a noted puncher, and with the left hook? What would he have done tonight against someone like Bermane Stiverne? See, that would have been interesting. You see. So my opinion, the finish was brutal by Anthony Joshua, but let's be honest, Dillian Whyte, in terms of defense, he was never a defensive genius. And I said the guy that thought the fight's better off the back foot will win this fight, and it was Anthony Joshua. Did all the correct things, kept his hands up. He showed heart, and I did say to people in my pre-fight prediction that Dillian Whyte said that Anthony Joshua had no heart, but I wanted to remind people that Dillian Whyte, when he knocked Anthony Joshua down, he got back up and won and lost the fight on points. Dillian Whyte did not knock out Anthony Joshua. Let's remember that. Didn't knock Anthony Joshua out. Joshua got up, and he went the distance. So I never questioned Anthony Joshua's heart. What I still question is that he's got too much muscle. He's too muscle bound. I question his trainer, and you know, at the next level, you know, European and world level. I mean, how would he do against someone like Helenius? You know, how would he do against Duhaupas? Moving him up a little bit now. How does he do against Shannon Briggs, for example? How would he do against Shannon Briggs? Joshua versus Shannon Briggs. Briggs has got fast hands. Briggs can punch. I think it'd be an interesting fight. Okay, let's see what people are saying. Ruben Kalik, AJ can't beat Fury. No chance. Xander Patch says if Joshua lost, he would have got ridiculed. Joshua won, but he still gets hated on. Lose-lose situation. Well, no, it's not lose-lose. It's the expectations people have on Joshua, the unrealistic expectations of him at this point in time. Ruben Kalik says AJ is the definition of a stiff. Marky says Fury would maul AJ. Terence Talbot says, I was impressed with AJ tonight. He showed heart in the second round, passed the test. He won all the rounds clearly. Rome was a built-in day. I don't think you're giving him enough credit. I'm not giving him enough credit if you look at the next heavyweight champion of the world. Sorry. I'm not giving him credit because he beat Dillian Whyte. How good is Dillian Whyte? Who's Dillian Whyte? I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I've seen enough boxing, right? You watch how Lennox Lewis fought in his 15th fight against Gary Mason, who was a noted puncher. And he had 30 fights, or 35 fights, or 32 fights, ranked number 4 in the world. And he had beaten somebody. He'd beaten a few good fighters. Gary Mason. Remember the name. Go back and watch that fight. If you go and look at Frank Bruno's career, and you go and look at Anthony Joshua's career, and you look at the two fighters, there's lots of similarities. I don't see the Lennox Lewis thing there. I'm sorry. Terence, look at White's resume. They expected 1-2 round blowout. Exactly. Skype has overhyped him massively, Bazza says. What a night of boxing. Alan, it was a night of boxing. 2 fights that really made it. Well, 3 fights. The Masnick fight with Bellew. The fight with Spike O'Sullivan and Chris Eubank Jr. And, of course, the top of the bill fight, of course. Hello, UK boxing. Boxers news. UK boxers news. Alan Hurst says, what a night of boxing. Marky B says, someone said that Ingram, Del Boy 94, Stavern gets stopped. Someone that flat foot is not beating Joshua. Really? Really? Marky, really? Honestly? That flat footed? Well, are you going to tell me that Dillian Whyte is better than Bermain Stavern? Really? Honestly? Are you telling me that? Now, if Stavern lands that left hook on Joshua, really? Joshua is Stavern's been a world champion. He's been places that Anthony Joshua hasn't been. Would he beat Chris Arreola? You have to ask yourself the question. Arreola, I'd stick Joshua with Arreola tomorrow and see what he can do. He's in 2 shows. This and Boxing Beats and Rhymes. Okay. I've never seen power like AJ's. Dillian's resume is bad, but he's respected by his peers. He could win the IBF title, I think. I don't think so. Oh, I didn't say it. Some guy said it in the beach chat. Okay, fine, fair enough. I think Stavern beats Anthony Joshua at this point in time. You know, I like to see Joshua against someone like Parker Chisora. Listen, Tepper beats Joshua as well. Tepper can punch, takes a good shot, and tactically I think it's better. Joshua's too stiff. Too stiff. Sorry. He needs to have a world-class trainer in his corner. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. He needs a world-class trainer in his corner. And, you know, you can only go so far boxing like that. You can only go so far. Bottom line is he needs a world-class trainer in his corner. And I'm sorry, his trainer's not world-class, in my opinion. He needs somebody who's, you know, someone like a James Ellie Bashir, who, or even a Tommy Brooks, somebody who has a history of fighting, training big men. Don't think you give Joshua enough credit. I'll tell you why. The bloke only beat who's put in front of him, agreed, never tested, but today his chin tested, heart tested, impressed. Okay, yes, UK boxing news. I appreciate that. But you're talking about a man that you're saying could beat Tyson Fury. You're talking about a man here that's been put at the top of the food chain. That's what I'm comparing him to. I'm not comparing him to the British title level. Okay? If we're putting him British title level and you look at just as British title level, yeah, fine. But if you're looking at it as world title, what can this man move on from there? You know, he didn't dismiss Dillian Whyte like it was an easy fight. Look at Lennox Lewis when he was running through the British division. He was destroying people in the British division. He beat Gary Mason. He dusted up Derek Williams. There was no doubt he was the #1 fighter in Great Britain before he moved on. In fact, the only guy he had left, the guy he struggled with was Frank Bruno. And Frank Bruno, if you go back and look at Bruno's career, Bruno actually had been beat by only the best guys in the division and went on and won a world title. So when you look at when you look at those things, that's the things I'm saying. I'm looking at the overall picture. I'm not looking at the picture for today. I'm looking at, is this guy at this point capable of becoming world heavyweight champion? And my answer is no. You know, so yes, he passed the test, but who's testing him? If you're going to say he passed the test, then who's testing him? Dillian Whyte, we still don't know how good Dillian Whyte is. We don't know how good Dillian Whyte is. How can you pass a test against a guy who, on his record, has fought nobody? Fact. So you can't say he passed the test. Let him beat somebody who we know is credible in terms of records, and then we say pass the test. All he did today, we just found out he took a punch, got wobbled by a guy. We don't know how good he actually is. If he got hit by someone like Stavern or a Tepper, or if he got hit by one of the guys that we know for a fact has fought, like if he took Stavern's best shot, and we know Stavern had dropped Ariola, then we can say, yeah, he passed the test. But how can you pass a test against a guy who was an unknown in the start? I don't get that. That's not passing a test. What test? He took a shot, he got wobbled against a guy who was unknown. That's a fact. He was unknown. Even coming into the fight, we didn't know how good Dillian Whyte was. So, what test? Gar says, to be fair, this should be a wake-up call for AJ's fans. He's labelled to a victory over Dillian Whyte. He's miles away from the top yet. Agreed. Evening, Ingram. I can't see. Timur or Liver Tap says, evening, Ingram. Where was the post-fight interview hype for Eddie Hearn? This is a wake-up call. Hearn says stuff like he's going to be the top of the heavyweight division. That was missing today. Okay, then. But who can test him then? I just said. People who have got a record. They've beaten somebody, or 2 or 3 people. Established record. A Chris Ariola. Let's try him. Shannon Briggs. Let's try him. You know where Shannon Briggs is. Shannon Briggs will punch. Put Shannon Briggs in with Dillian, with Joshua. International name, loads of experience, got great punching power, doesn't get knocked out often. Shannon Briggs. There you go. And you should beat him. Tony Thompson. What about Tony Thompson? That's another good fight. Have to say as well, someone in shape all found out that he will gas easy. Said that. Somebody says no such thing as testing. Don't know about that bit. Terrence says, but in resume sense, you are correct. Of course, the resume sense, you can't argue with that. I think that this was a better test. There will be farther tests to come. Agree. Thompson, there you go. Marky says, Ingram, ain't nobody hit harder than life. Agreed. Shannon Briggs is old and washed up. Exactly. But if Briggs hits Joshua on the chin and he takes it, You say Briggs is washed up, but Dillian Whyte was a live opponent, right? According to you, who's now calling Briggs. I would say Briggs is more of a live opponent than Dillian Whyte, simply because you've got somebody there who's got a record. He's done something. Former heavyweight champion of the world, a big puncher, and he's got, I think, the most knockouts, or at least one of the best records in first round knockouts. So he's a puncher. How is that a test, though? I'll tell you why it's a test, because you've got an established name, an established record. If you can tell me that Dillian Whyte is more of a test than Shannon Briggs in terms of punch power, punch resistance, Briggs brings hand speed, he brings power, right? You don't want to match him too hard, Joshua. He brings hand speed and power. Joshua should be beating Shannon Briggs. So what are you going to do? Jump him and put him in with Tyson Fury tomorrow? You've got to think about this. Boxing News, UK Boxing News says, LOL, I like it, but Dillian Whyte, if he won, would have been a dog's bollocks. No, he wouldn't have been a dog's bollocks, because I said in my video that this fight proves nothing. Joshua beats Dillian Whyte. Who did he beat? And if Dillian Whyte beats Joshua, who did he beat? It was the who did he beat fight. I said it. Dillian Whyte would have been a dog's bollocks. He wouldn't have been a dog's bollocks. Perfect failed test, but he lost, so he was a nobody. Thompson would not last anywhere near rounds. I disagree with you there. I disagree with you, UK Boxing News. Thompson has got movement. Thompson can box. Don't fall into the same trap that people fell into about David Price. He moved. He moves. He's got movement. Okay? He's not going to stand and get hit by Joshua. And Thompson's got movement, which will give Joshua problems. It's a different sort of test. Yes, Del Boy Chisora, another interesting fight. The only question is, does Del Boy want it anymore? He hasn't looked great since the Fury fight. Somebody says, just shows how dominant Britain is of the heavyweights. Maybe 10 years ago. No, I wouldn't say 10 years ago. You're looking at opponents to prepare this guy for the heavyweight championship of the world, right? Do you think if White was in proper shape, he would have won? It depends what you see as proper shape. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, really. Briggs risky judging versus White. Yeah, Briggs is a judge is a risky fight because he has hand speed, he's got power. Versus Del Boy's pointless. Yeah, he's got hand speed, he's got power, he's in good shape. You know, he gave Lennox Lewis a lot of problems. Yes, I know it was a long time ago, but still, Briggs has a record. Briggs has a record. You wouldn't put him in with Joseph Parker now. You definitely wouldn't. You wouldn't put him in. I wouldn't put him in with Tepper, the European champion. David Price fight is an interesting fight, but would you put Joshua in the ring with David Price? Even now, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Think Price, supposedly Price knocked him out in sparring. I don't know. So my thoughts are about this fight. Joshua wins a fight against a guy we didn't know how good he was. And he got tested against a guy we don't know how good he is. I don't believe that Joshua beats Tyson Fury. I think Hearn should just put Joshua in with Povetkin and let Povetkin bat him for 12 rounds if he lost. Put him in with Glasgow. Okay, interesting. I'm still a White fan. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. No testing versus Briggs. Okay, fair enough. I think Briggs brings speed. He brings power. I think he's got faster hands than him. Abel Sanchez, Ronnie Shields, or John David Jackson with Joshua. He needs to get someone like that before it's too late. I believe so. But I believe, for me, Joshua will make the adjustments. And a lot of people who are on here tonight defending Anthony Joshua are the same people. I've got you down here marked. You're the same people that when Joshua gets knocked out are going to turn around and say, well, you know what? Ingram was right. I'm not waiting until it happens. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon because it's a bandwagon that's going to crash very soon. Unless Joshua makes a fundamental changes and gets a good trainer inside, I wouldn't bring Abel Sanchez and I'd bring James Elliott Bashir or Tommy Brooks. Two guys who worked with a lot of heavyweights, got a lot of heavyweight experience. Those are two guys I would bring in, for the heavyweight division. I will bring any one of those two guys in, and Joshua should think to bring them in before he gets knocked out and before it goes horrible. I've said it already, but there you go. People won't listen to me. Abel said Fury would get hammered. Be quiet. Ha ha ha. UK boxers. White was hit flush in the chin by Joshua and looked back with heart. Fair multiple shots turned him over, but one shot normally knocks everyone out. White can come back for me. Yeah, of course he can come back. White can take a punch, you mug, and he got knocked out. Okay, that's not me. I'm not defending him, but the guy has 14 fights. Even he admits he needs work. Yeah, he does need work. And I keep saying, I have to say it over and over and over again. Joshua's a humble guy. I think he knows how far he's going at the moment, and he's not going into the hype. He's not going into the hype at all. So for me, again, I would caution people who are jumping on the bandwagon. I'm speaking from a position of not emotion. I'm speaking from a position of or bandwagon jumping. I can't, one hand be supporting Tyson Fury, and I've supported a guy who's been, I've seen get knocked down, get up, win fights, be in difficult situations. I've seen him do that and win fights. And I said he would beat Klitschko. He beat Klitschko. I can't be then turn around and jumping on the bandwagon of a guy who I don't think is ready for a world title shot, who I don't think is on the same level as Tyson Fury, and who I don't think at this point in time with this trainer, I don't think that's the best fit for Joshua moving forward to become heavyweight champion of the world. He needs a trainer with heavyweight experience, and I don't think that this trainer at the moment has got that. That's my opinion, but we'll see. Just like the Bruno story, he's been shaken up. What's he going to do about his defense? What's he going to do about his stamina? You're not going to suddenly get rid of those big henchy muscles, are you? You're not. So he's going to have to do something different. He's going to have to do some things differently. And Dillian Whyte has not got the fastest hands in the business. And we don't even know if he's a real big puncher, because the guys he knocked out are guys that, they get knocked out. Do you understand? So, you know, there's nothing on the record to see Dillian Whyte is a big puncher. Do you know? And there's nothing on Joshua's record to say he's a big puncher either. You know, you need to knock out somebody who doesn't normally get knocked out, and don't bring in Kevin Johnson. Tasha J says, I don't think he's ready for a world title either, but there's nothing wrong with people getting on the bandwagon, but that's what fans of the sport do. I'm not getting on that bandwagon. I've said it here and I keep on saying it. Teddy Atlas, we're firemen. Okay, so my thoughts are, congratulations to Anthony Joshua. I'm doing the post-fight video now. Congratulations to Anthony Joshua. A good fight tonight. My assessment is he got hit tonight. He showed heart. He came back. But I never questioned AJ's heart. If you remember my pre-fight, I never questioned AJ's heart. I also said the guy that fights better off the back foot, the guy who's good on countering, the guy that fights got a better defense wins this fight. And of course, that was Anthony Joshua. I think his Olympic pedigree came in tonight. I think, again, I think the lactic acid is an issue with Anthony Joshua. I think he's got a bodybuilder's frame. And I don't know any world heavyweight champion that has been built like that and has been a dominant heavyweight champion. I've seen one guy built like that, and his problem was when he fought against the elite fighters, he tired badly and got tagged and got knocked out. And that was Frank Bruno. So let's move on. The story about for Dillian Whyte, Jonathan Banks, does it work? Don't know. Don't know if it works. Dillian Whyte's got a lot to think about. How he rebuilds. When he rebuilds, how do you come back from a crushing knockout like that? You know, not a lot of fighters that come back from a crushing knockout like that come back and actually become champion of the world. So he's got to do some rebuilding. And because he's an independent, you know, and he's had his opportunity now, what happens? Is he going to get the opportunity to come back and get the opportunity to fight like that again? You know, he's an independent. So if he signs for a promoter, maybe. But who's going to give him the opportunities? I don't know. I don't know. Promoters may look at what happened tonight with Dillian Whyte and may say, you know what, this guy's a bit off the handle. I'm not sure if I want to promote him. Promoters may say, you know what, you know, he'll sell me some tickets. And that might be the way forward for him. Moving on, let's talk about the fight between Spike O'Sullivan and Chris Eubank Jr. First and foremost, what a fight. That was a real war. Credit to both guys. Eubank got hit with some big shots. I said in the pre-fight that Eubank will get nailed. It's a matter of whether Eubank can take his best shots. Eubank took O'Sullivan's best shots. In the end, O'Sullivan sucked up a hell of a lot of shots in the fight. The sad thing for me is the way the fight kind of just came to an end. I would like to see that fight go into later rounds. But, you know, he was taking a lot of punches, but I expected him to take punches. But I thought that Sullivan would get close to him and land big punches. But, you know, the body shots, the uppercuts, Eubank was good with that. But I expected to see Spike punch when Eubank was punching and land. That didn't happen as much. But it was a great fight. And Eubank beat Spike. It was a very good fight, though. Eubank has got some heart. He's got a good chin. Don't know if he's got a great chin. Got a good chin. I wouldn't like to see him getting hit with punches like that against someone like a Jacobs, and God forbid him go and do that nonsense against somebody like a Gennady Golovkin. We wouldn't see that either. So I'm concerned about those things there. How Adam Booth and him work moving forward, I don't know. As for Spike O'Sullivan going back to his corner, did he say he didn't want any more? According to, I'm hearing from people telling me Steve Collins said that he didn't have any more to give. I don't know, but it's just kind of sad to see the fight end like that. A grudge match end with him retiring in his corner. But full credit to both guys. You know, they got out there and they gave it a tough fight. Spike showed heart, he showed guts. And I do know people in boxing that would love to see Spike get actually knocked out, or Eubank get knocked out barbarian style. And I kind of understand that. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is boxing. And that's what's happened. Let's move on. Kevin Mitchell, no surprise in getting knocked out. Kind of said it via Twitter, and I did have a pre-fight done, which I never bothered uploading. But I had no surprise that Barroso knocked out Kevin Mitchell. Mitchell missed the boat a long time ago with Michael Katsidis, and then he missed the boat again when he fought Burns. And you know, Barroso's a good fighter, and he can punch, and he's got good engine, I think. Barroso, I would tell Anthony Crolla, it's all right saying what you're saying in a microphone, you know, in your shirt and your trousers, and look very smart tonight, Mr. Crolla. But bottom line, if I were you, I would avoid Barroso. I would evade or swerve from Barroso, because I believe Barroso beats Anthony Crolla. Being said, I really do believe Barroso beats Crolla, even knocks Crolla out. Sorry. But he's got the best trainer in the world, Anthony Crolla. So who knows, maybe the best trainer in the world can come up with some sort of strategy. Who else? Masterneck versus Tony Bellew. Again, Tony Bellew in an interesting fight. Is he a world-class puncher? Don't know. Masterneck had been stopped, but twice or three times in his career. Tony Bellew couldn't get the stoppage victory. Good fight for Bellew. Is he world-class? I think Bellew's got all it takes. I was impressed with Bellew's ability to take Masterneck's best shots. Did not like the way Tony Bellew kept backing up to the ropes and leaving his chin in the air and getting hit with straight right hands all the time. He couldn't get out of the way of the left jab, and he couldn't get out of the way of the right hand. Now, you don't want to be getting hit with by right hands and left hands by people like Lebedev, or getting hit by what's his name, Hernandez, or getting nailed by Usyk. You don't want to get nailed by those guys, or even the guy that knocked out Huck. You don't want to get nailed by those guys. So those are the things I'd be concerned about for Mr. Bellew moving forward. European champion. I'd say again, people are giving Dave Colwell a lot of credit, but I would like, and congratulations, by the way, Tony, for being European champion. But again, I will say it before, and I keep on saying it. I would like to see Bellew with another trainer. I really would. Yes, Luke Campbell's loss. Wow. This is what happens when you have a prospect that everyone's hyped up. And I really like Luke Campbell. But that guy Mendy is a good fighter, and he was tough, and he was strong. He was only stopped by three. Yeah, he was stopped by Masterneck. Was it? I'm sure he got stopped somewhere else. Maybe I was wrong. But yeah, he did get stopped by Drod. So yes, he's been stopped before. Where was I? Luke Campbell. Yes, this is what happens when you put a prospect in the ring with a guy that's solid, and it's a solid fighter. That Mendy was very solid. Luke Campbell went down. He got back up. I think Luke Campbell, he's another one that definitely needs to look into having a new trainer. Rumors are not rumors. From what I heard, that I say it's a rumor because I don't know the inside out about Luke Campbell. I do like him, but if it's an amateur trainer he's got in his corner, he's in the professionals. I believe he needs a professional trainer. Luke Campbell's got good skills. I don't think the 1-2's fine. I liked him throwing more punches. The other thing about Luke Campbell, he didn't look strong enough in there as well. I don't know what his strength and conditioning is like. And if you're going to get to the top of the lightweight division, he's going to have to be physically stronger, more imposing, better head movement, better defensive work. And it's not always about you being on top, but being able to deal with it, handle opposition. And he's had too many easy fights. And that's what happens when you get too many easy fights. And then you find yourself in the ring with somebody who no longer is an easy fight. So he learned a big lesson tonight, Luke Campbell. I believe he can come again, but he's got to change his trainer. I believe you need to, you're in the professional ranks, get a professional trainer if your trainer is an amateur trainer. So who else can we talk about tonight? Roy Jones, Enzo Macronelli. Oh dear, that was just horrible matchmaking. I mean, Roy Jones is 46 years old. And we knew Roy Jones was nowhere near the Roy Jones that had fought and had beaten people like Clinton Woods, beaten John Reyes or Richard Hall, or even the guy that beat James Toney, or even the guy that dropped Joe Calzaghe. That Roy Jones that was past it then, was fighting Enzo Macronelli. The one thing Macronelli's got say what you want about Enzo Maccarinelli. You can say he's chilly, you can say limited. The one thing that Enzo Maccarinelli's got is world-class punching power. And you've got a guy in Enzo Maccarinelli who's got world-class punching power. Who's got world-class punching power, and Paul Roy Jones Jr. You know, he decides to sit on the ropes and allow Enzo Maccarinelli to land on him, and when he does, the finish was beautiful. So poor Roy Jones Jr. As for Enzo Maccarinelli, wow, he may still have life in the cruiserweight division. I'd like to see Enzo Maccarinelli versus Tony Bellew. Now, that's a fight I'd like to see. And I personally would go with Enzo Maccarinelli in that fight because he's just got one punch knockout power. Real, genuine, non-one punch knockout power. A cruiserweight, I'd love to have seen that fight. I really would. I'm just glad to see Enzo's back. Good fight for Enzo. As for Luke Campbell, has he stayed in the amateurs too long, Bruce Wayne? Possibly, but he needs a pro trainer. So he definitely needs a pro trainer. UK Boxing News says, how's the coaching going, Ingram? It's going great. Finish a 6-week camp. And I've got a video that I will be posting shortly so you can see how I did some of the videos so you guys could watch and see what was going on in the camp. It was good. It was interesting stuff. Really enjoyed it. Campbell looked out of his depth, drained fighter. Yeah, maybe there's some weight issues there, but he definitely needs to sort his camp out. He just did not look right there. Bruce Wayne, he used that pity-patty style from the amateurs. He did. But then they used to say Joe Kazaki had a pity-patty style, pitter-patter style punches. But Joe used to set his feet and throw those punches, and he had some power. I don't think Luke Campbell was exposed. I think his training regime and what he does to train to get into a fight has been exposed. Not so much Luke Campbell. I think Luke Campbell's a good fighter, but he needs guidance from a professional trainer who's got experience at creating world champions. That's what it is for me. Sad to see Roy Jones get knocked out like that. He needs to stop now. He does need to stop now. I joked earlier and said, somebody said to me that Roy Jones' deal with Russia is to do with money and PR. Well, if I was a Russian president or prime minister, I'd be asking for money back because that was pitiful tonight. Somebody also said to me tonight on Twitter that Roy Jones needs to practice getting knocked out in his living room because every time he gets knocked out, it looks bad. That was bad the way he got knocked out. Roy Jones has to stop boxing. I'm sorry. He has to stop. Because every time he gets knocked out, he's damaged his legacy more and more and more. And young people are watching Roy Jones now and thinking Roy Jones is a bum. When we go back, Roy Jones at his prime was a phenomenal fighter. What else have we got to talk about tonight? I think that's about it, really. There's not much more I can talk about to you guys. Yes, Conor McGregor. Wow. Now, that's what I'm looking forward to tonight. Conor McGregor, of course. Well, I can't sit down and tell you that I'm a UFC expert or MMA expert, but from what I've seen from Conor McGregor, if he wins this fight, he's got to keep, for me, he's got to stick with, the longest McGregor stays on his feet, the better. That's for me. The longer McGregor stays on his feet, the better. And the left hand, he seems to have a lot of power in that left hand. He needs to land that. He needs to find a home for that left hand early. He kicks quite well as well, McGregor, from what I've seen. But it's his left hand. I want to see what happens when his left hand lands on Aldo. I don't know much about Aldo's chin. I don't know about his durability. I just know he's a damn good fighter. But what I also do know that there's been a lot of fighters recently. Vladimir Klitschko, Marco Huck. Could Aldo be the third person on the list who is a top fighter that's been around for a long time that's going to come unstuck? That's the only thing I think maybe McGregor's got in his favor. World champions that have been around a long time getting beat. Feed says, McGregor is a fraud. R.I.P. He's hype train. Rest in peace, his hype train tonight. Well, you know what? I'm not sure boxing, apart from Tyson Fury, I'm not sure boxing's got a Conor McGregor type of character. Tyson Fury is the best that we've got around at the moment in terms of boxing characters. McGregor, The difference between Tyson Fury and McGregor is McGregor's got the whole of Ireland behind him, and Tyson Fury's got some of Ireland behind him. And when I say that, no disrespect to the Irish, I'm in Ireland, and Fury's become heavyweight champion in the world, and some of his family are from, just down the road from myself. And a lot of the Irish people didn't know that Tyson Fury had become world heavyweight champion, which is a crying shame. So yeah, UFC's for girls. This is a boxing show. F McGregor. With all respect. Well, and with all due respect, and I've got to say this, yeah, I can't tell you that I'm a UFC fan, right? But after seeing Holly Holm go and destroy Ronda Rousey, right? Because I wanted to know what all the Ronda Rousey hype was all about. I wanted to see, and I knew Holly Holm was the proven goods as a boxer. I wanted to know whether she could actually box. So it was quite funny seeing Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey getting beat up and knocked out actually has made me more of a UFC fan in a very strange way. But in terms of tonight's fight, I don't know who's going to win. But I'm becoming a UFC fan every day, more and more. I like the way they set their stall out. I like the way they promote their fights. I like the way it looks in UFC. I've just been honest, boxing fans. I like the way it looks. But if McGregor gets himself smashed to bits tonight, it's going to be hilarious. I shouldn't say it. It's going to be absolutely hilarious. I kind of want McGregor to win because he's got personality and he speaks his mind. And, it's nice to have somebody that speaks his mind, is honest, and is open. We've got so many people in the world that's trying to control his mouth, control what they just say. So let's see what people say. The AJ hype train continues. UK Boxer says, just come back and see McGregor talk. Not sure how we got here, but you says boxing not the same in league. That said, yeah, it's not in the same league. But I'm more excited about seeing McGregor and Aldo tonight than the shows I've seen tonight in boxing. Now, having said all of that, tonight's boxing, I tell you, the UFC is going to have to go a long way to compete with that tonight, honestly, because that boxing tonight was nice. It kind of satisfying tonight. Somebody says, the AJ train almost got derailed tonight, says Marky. What time's it on? I don't know what time. Be on soon, though. Fred says, no, AFC, no politics, best fight the best, no excuses, no sanction bodies. That's what I like to hear. If that's the case, I'll be interested in watching more UFC. He's supposedly the next cash cow for UFC. Hope he loses tonight. Right. And now, somebody else, I can't read what they're saying tonight for some weird reason on the words are very, of the people speaking tonight. I can't see their names very clearly. But the person says, AJ has no chin in my opinion. White had him in trouble in round 2. But, the question is, we don't know how big a puncher Dillian Whyte is. And that is my point. I go back to this point again. We don't know how good Dillian Whyte's punch power is. We don't know. Are we seeing a resurgence of the heavyweight division? No. Not sure. Not sure if we're seeing a resurgence of the heavyweight division. Vlad is no longer champion. Okay? And Fury's beating him. But I have to say, honestly, there's a lot of those heavyweights that Vlad can still beat. He's beaten Bryant Jennings. He's beaten Povetkin. Okay? So there's Parker. Who else? There's Joshua. Dillian Whyte got beat tonight. There's Dave Allen. There's Luis Ortiz. If Jennings beats Ortiz, then that's another one wiped out. So, oh my God. Good performance at AJ, but not ready for likes of Fury, and possibly not even Hay. Hay has movement, speed, and power, which are the issues that Joshua struggled with Whyte tonight. I agree with you there. Totally, Yemi. If McGregor wins, he would be bigger than any boxer now. Floyd and many have retired. I agree with you there as well. Somebody has just popped up and said, truth is a bitter pill. Joshua would beat Fury now. I think most people in the room know that that is not true. Lewis Anthony says, Dillian's a brawler, not a boxer. He gets hit and reacts like a true roadman. Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what it was. That was a, you know, it was a street fight kind of thing, you know. Fury #1 heavyweight in the world? I believe so. Enjoyed the pay-per-view. UFC, no politics, just gets on with it. I'm sick of what happened with Tyson. I too hear Marcus. I'm sick of what's happened with Tyson as well. You know, I'd like to know what happens if Tyson gave up all the belts. Would he still be considered #1 in the world? Deontay would brush Fury plus Parker is overhyped. Listen, Deontay Wilder hasn't fought anybody since the Bermain Stavern. If you believe that Duhapis and Molina are the calling cards to Tyson, who just beat. If Deontay Wilder is so good, why didn't he fight Vladimir Klitschko? Why didn't he fight Vladimir Klitschko? Forget the two voluntaries. Demand to fight Klitschko. In fact, he could still fight Klitschko now, but he won't. He won't even fight Povetkin. And you want to tell me that he's going to beat Fury? Get out of here. AJ, come on. I know you interviewed him quite a few times, but he's not proven anything thus far. That's right, yeah. I tell you something. You just disrespected Dave Allen there, but let me add something to the mix here. Tonight, Derek Chisora was in the ring with a guy that Dave Allen's had Dave Allen's ninth fight. He fought Fabrice Aurieng. Fabrice Aurieng knocked out Derek Chisora's opponent tonight in 2 rounds. Just saying. Anyway, AJ Wilder too soon? Definitely. I need to see Hughie Fury in with a live body. Hennessy needs to pull his finger out. Yeah, we do need to see Hughie Fury step up, but I think Hughie Fury's got far more fluidity. He's got more fluidity than Anthony Joshua. If Wilder's so good, why wouldn't he fight Povetkin? I just said that. Agreed. UK Boxing News says, normally agreed, but he did try to fight Klitschko. Wilder dangerous for any opponent. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not bought on the Wilder train either. He can't block a left jab, and anybody's got a good. He can't block a left jab. Go watch Wilder. He cannot block a left jab, and he hasn't got a great left jab himself. And if you go down in history, the greatest fighters in their heavyweight division have all the great fighters in history. The #1 thing they have is a great left jab. You look at them. Larry Holmes, what's his name? Muhammad Ali, great fighters, and Lennox Lewis all had great left jabs. And I'm sorry, Deontay Wilder doesn't have a great left jab. Is Eubank Jr. ready for world level? Can he beat the likes of Andy Lee, Canelo, and Jacobs? Obviously, he would get raped by Golovkin. No, I don't believe he is. I believe next up for Mr. Eubank should be the European title. I don't think he's ready for Gary, by Daniel Jacobs. No way. Sorry. I think Hughie Fury beats White. I'd like to see Hughie Fury fight Derek Chisora. That'd be a great fight. David Hay was clearly on Sky tonight, looking at the payday. He admitted he covered his eyes when Dillian fought back. He was in it for the money, nothing else. You kind of wonder yourself, what is David Hay going to do against Joshua? He's got the speed and the power and the movement to beat Joshua. But if he feels the power of Joshua earlier, he may get on his bike and box like he did against Klitschko. And the other thing about David, he too tires. He's just blowing out his ass against Chisora. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. UK Boxers News says, not talking pound for pound, talking dangerous for current champions. Yeah, possibly. Feed says, Eubank fights like a pit bull. No 160 fighter would give GGG a better fight than him. I wouldn't go as far as that. Povetkin was running from Wilder, according to a recent press conference in the White House, the White Suite. Okay, fair enough. Spike was brave, so brave, felt sorry for the man, but limited skill-wise. Got a hell of a chin and heart, bless. Yes, I have to agree there. You have to be honest, I backed him tonight, Spike, and I thought he rocked you back with some great shots. But Spike, fortunately, he needs a bit more to his game. Bruce Wayne, yes, and Ross Putin beat Klitschko. That means he's better than Hay, Povetkin, Ibrahimovic, Pulev, and many others. Flawed logic, Ingram. Why is it flawed? Flawed that Klitschko could beat most of the heavyweights in the world today? No, mate. He's the second best heavyweight in the world in my mind, after Tyson Fury. I don't know about that, about flawed logic. Gaseous Hay. Cheers, unborn. Triple G will crush Eubank. Yeah. Right. I think I'm coming to the end of this. If anybody else has got anything to say, check out the interviews with James Ali Bashir. Please listen to that interview, James Ali Bashir, talking about the Eubank, not Eubank. You could talk about Klitschko. Check out the interview I did with him. And yeah, it's a very interesting interview. I asked him about the Klitschko legacy. Anybody know what happened to Usyk tonight by any chance? Who should Joshua fight next? Chisora, David Price, Tepper, and Helenius. Well, first of all, I would keep David Price away from Joshua. I know David Price got done by Tepper, but I think he'll fancy his chance against Joshua, having done the business against him in sparring. I still think David Price is a dangerous heavyweight. I still think he's dangerous. That power is dangerous. He is a shot fighter because he's confidence. If you can get that confidence up in David Price, it'd still be a dangerous fight, a dangerous fighter. Maybe Eubank isn't the best, second best 160 behind GGG, but I don't believe anyone else has the balls to stand and wall with GGG. Lemieux himself shit himself and tried to box. Would you put David Lemieux with Chris Eubank Jr.? That's a good question. Eubank is stupid enough to try and trade with GGG. UFC now. Enjoyed the night so far. Good pay-per-view. Watched last night UFC 2. It's all good, fight fans. Price is finished, to be honest. Yeah, I think your royalty for Price is admirable, but he's a broken fighter. He's a broken fighter. But he's a broken fighter because he made some very poor choices. You know, Tommy Brooks, experienced trainer, told him what to do. He chose not to do what he was told to do. Chose to go and do his own thing. And then, you know, showed the mentality of David Price to go back to his amateur coach. So that's that there. So I agree. Loyalty to Price. I don't call it loyalty to Price. Just saying the attributes he has. Big left jab, big right hand. That's what I'm looking at. I wouldn't like to see that fight. He's dangerous, just can't hold a punch. Well, that's good. That's why you should fight Joshua. That's a good fight to fight Joshua. You don't want to put people in with Joshua who's going to beat him. But you want to test him, right? So you know Price can punch. You know Price can punch. So, anyone see any post-fight talk from Joshua, from White? Yeah, I definitely want to hear what Dillian Whyte's got to say. You know, I definitely want to hear what Dillian Whyte's got to say. Okay, this is it. I'm going to be signing out now to watch UFC. Guys, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to like the video. And don't forget to follow me on Boxing, Bayloric Boxing. Boxing with an N, not an ING. Why is Fury so fluid and guys at Vlad and AJ are so stiff? Because Fury, look at the way his arms are. He's not pumped, ripped with big muscles. He's got lean muscles. So lean muscles. That's why he's got fast twitch muscles. That's the reason why. Bless you all. I always wanted to say this. God bless you and God bless America. I'm out. Take care.